Hi, this video we are going to go over some hopefully new and fresh ideas of ways that you can use SchoolAI in your classroom, things that might help boost some student engagement and make things a little more interesting, and just trying to do some different things. I got 3 things we're going to look at today, and hopefully one of those gives you some new ideas, helps you out with it. So let's go ahead and sign in. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is something I've talked about before, but with a little addition to that. And we're going to use spaces, and using spaces to give something for your students to use as a support and help in your classroom. And so previously I talked about creating a tutor space where you create a space and you just plug it into Canvas where students can go in and they can type questions and get some help and support on that. To do that, we can just go ahead and create a space, just create a new one, and let's just call it class tutor. Sometimes it's helpful to repeat some things. That's all it really takes. You can save this. You have this preview right here that you can check out. And then you can go into your Canvas, add it, and now as a student, let's publish that. If I go in, see class tutor, class help, I click on that, and it takes me to the space that can be used. And so students can use that for all kinds of things, not even just asking questions, but if I know some students have asked their teachers for help, like generating ideas for certain projects and stuff like that. It can be used for all that. So we've talked about that before. The next thing I want to talk about is using the same idea, but as a worksheet support. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create and just title this Math Worksheet Help. Okay, and if you want to add any more of this information, you can. You don't really have to. Let's go ahead and save that. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is using escape room or a scavenger hunt type thing in spaces as well. So we're going to go ahead, and if I was to create this on my own, I could go to spaces and click create right before. I've already created this one, so I'll just open it up. So if somebody was to give you this room to access it and you wanted to make some changes, one of the things you can do is you click this remix button, and we'll do that just to show you how I created this room. Once you've created remix, you can make adjustments to however you want to change this room. So the key in this one is really going to be the instructions and the prompt that you write. I'm usually a big fan of short and simple, but for this escape room idea, you kind of have to be a lot more detailed to make it work. So this example, I was teaching Shakespeare, and I said, here we go, we're going to try this, and just to help give my students something different to explore some of the life and works of Shakespeare. I didn't think too hard about what kind of things I'm actually trying to teach in my class, like essentials and standards and all that kind of stuff. I just pulled some things from the top of my head. So don't judge on the depth of knowledge included here, because you can make it a little more detailed and tailored to the actual stuff that you're trying to teach. Anyways, so like I said, I'm in an escape room, 8th grade Language H classroom in Utah, letting it know that. And the idea here is they're going to go through 4 trials, and before they can move on to the next trial, they have to get a 4-letter code. So part of this is going to be you creating some things in your classroom and doing the stuff in SchoolAI. And so I said, this is a Shakespeare themed. They're going to explore the life and works. Key points about here: do not give participants any clues. Don't ever tell them the 4-letter codes. Like, this gets said a few times over and over to make sure they can't cheat the system. And I want this to kind of build a story around the entire escape room. So I say, what do I want it to do first? Well, I'm going to have them welcome the participants, okay, and wish them luck. So here's my first trial. I set it up for the Globe Theater, telling them that they have to have 2 trivia questions, and I've actually given them the trivia questions I want asked that they need to get right. I again tell it not to give them the right answer, that they have to come up with it on their own, and then they can move on. So once they've answered the 2 questions, it says they're going to be given this unlock code. And so for this example, I said, okay, it's going to tell them where to find the unlock code. And in this case, it says it's on their Canvas page. So I would go into my Canvas module somewhere and just hide that code. And that students would have to go search the Canvas page, find wherever I put that 4-letter code, and then they come back into SchoolAI, type their answer, and it's going to move them on to the next trial. This question's a little bit different. I asked it to focus on the main characters and then choose a question about a character. So SchoolAI is going to choose a question focused on one of the characters, ask that person a question, and it just says that this participant needs to give a little simple summary about that person's role in the play. Again, they're going to get the unlock code, and it's going to tell them, so this one is on the side of the cabinet, and so maybe I paste a sticker on the cabinet that has this code play on there. They come and enter that code. We come here to this poetry one. This one I'm more vague, and I just say they need to answer 3 questions. I tell SchoolAI create 10 questions about poetry that somebody up through 7th grade should be able to answer, and then they have to be able to get 3 questions right of 10 different questions. And so if a student misses a question, they get a new question to try to answer, up to a total of 10 before it repeats. And that's just whatever, you can mess with that however you want. Again, they get the unlock code, and this time I just said it's on the door. So again, piece of paper or something that you paste in your room for they go and figure it out. I also tell the instructions to tell the students to not be obvious about where these codes are, just to kind of help along. Okay, so we finally get to our final one. In this case, I took the classic essay writing prompt for years and years and years. Whose fault is it that Romeo and Juliet died? And I just say they just have to give 2 reasons. They have to choose a person and give 2 reasons why that person's at fault, and that's all. And so SchoolAI will figure that out for them and then give them their final code. And once they've got their final code, it's going to direct students to go to Canvas and submit to the assignment. So I would have created an assignment in Canvas that was just a text entry. They would type in this phrase that SchoolAI is going to give them. I said give a different phrase for each participant, but use these keywords. And so when I'm grading it, I'm looking just for those keywords to help make sure students aren't just copying and pasting a common phrase. That's basically how that gets set up. Again, it's a lot of work in that sense, and if you want help with that, I can kind of copy and paste this code, and then you can just go in and make adjustments to it. That's the easiest way to do it. So let's see what this actually looks like. We'll start a preview. Okay, what year did the Globe Theater open? Well, it opened in 1599. Okay, I got it right. So my next question, who was a patron of the Globe in this production? I'm going to miss this one on purpose and say LeBron James. And now let's see what SchoolAI does for me. Oh, thanks. Why? Let's see if it works. Why don't you tell me the answer? We're going to try to be sympathetic here. So it's not going to give us the answer. I finally say King James. Let's see if it tells me if I'm good or if it wants me to be more specific. Okay, so I go to find my unlock code. Let's just, so obviously I didn't do this right because it just told them the unlock code. So let's come back here and see why it did that. Let's try this again. I fixed that a little bit. Okay, we'll just say 1599. King James I, like that. Okay, so now we just got the cam. Okay, so now you know the unlock is Will. So let's see what kind of question we get now. So it's given me the option of doing more information or just going forward with the code. Students can choose. This code is play. Let's see if it'll let me move on. I'm just going to speed this up and fast forward so you can just see the questions it's asking and how I'm responding and how it responds to my responses. Let's see what happens if I get it wrong. And again here, just to see what happens if students get wrong answers and how it works with the questions by giving them some different questions to try to get the right answers. Okay, so I'm finally able to get to the unlock code, ready for trial 4. Okay, so again, it's trying to give a little more detail and they can choose to go into that. Let's give it the unlock code. And it gave the phrase. Copy and paste that into Canvas. In this example, I forgot to tell SchoolAI to tell students to paste it into Canvas, or else it would say that. I went back later and fixed that, and it did that. It said, students, submit this into your Canvas assignment. So to create this, I would have all my stuff that I would do normal, and I would just do this online submission and text entry. So as a student, I could just come into the escape room assignment. It's going to have me do the text entry. I would paste it in there, and then I could go grade it as a teacher. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is SchoolAI, which I thought was awesome, and that is being able to use your spaces and grade them in Canvas Speedgrader. So if you assign a space, let's come to these sessions. Okay, so I've got this space that I've created, and I just called it a new translation tutor. And but it could go for whatever space you have. You can make an assignment, and students are interacting, having a discussion, doing whatever you're trying to do. So instead of a discussion board on Canvas, you can run it in this space in SchoolAI, and then you can get some information, who it is. You can get some feedback on what they're doing. The emojis tell what's good or bad. But you can also see what the students are actually doing inside of Canvas. And so I'll try to show you what that will look like. All right, right here, I'm just gonna pretend like I'm a student to kind of give some, let you see what it would look like, this tutor, for a student to use it. And then we'll use that to show you how to do the whole Speedgrader and Canvas thing. If I go back, and so we can see, here's my thing, seeking clarification, basically all this information about a student. And I create an assignment and I say, you're going to do this interaction, you're going to have this discussion, I'm going to be grading it, you're going to have the students come up here, grab this URL, just copy that. Before I show you what students would do, I'm just going to show you how to create the assignment that they could submit to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this online and URL. All right, now let's show you what a student would do and how they would submit it. I'm going to view it as a student, click on discussion. Here's my submission. So it's been submitted. So now as a teacher, I'm going to go in and grade that. Okay, so I've got this discussion submission. I'm going to come here. I'm going to grade it in Speedgrader. And it has the students' conversation, their chat in Speedgrader.